أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي كان موجودا قبل حدوث الأشياء ويبقى بعد فناء الأشياء تفرد بالأولية والقدم ووسم كل شيء ما عداه بالفناء والعدم كما قال عز شان كل شيء هالك إلا وجهه وكل نفس ذائقة الموت وقال كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام سبحان من لا يخفى عليه اختلاف النيات ولا يعزب عنه معاصي العباد في الخلوات سبحان الله الذي منه خلقة العباد وإليه المعاد فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يره ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يره نشهد أن لا إله إلا هو الملك الذي لا ينازع في ملكه ولا يضاد في حكمه يعذب من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء ويرحم من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء تعذيبه المسيئين عدل وعفوه تفضل ونشهد أن محمدا سيد المرسلين وخير المبشرين والمنذرين صلى الله عليه وآله الهداة المهديين من ركب سفينتهم نجا واهتدى ومن تخلف عنها ضل فغرق وهوى أوصيكم عباد الله بالاعتصام بالتقوى فإنه حبل متين وأروة وثقى فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى وقوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فلما أتاها نودي يا موسى إني أنا ربك فاخلع عليك إنك بالواد المقدس طوى صلوات بيجي محمد وآل محمد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I begin by advising myself and all of you to adopt the taqwa of Allah as is the best of provisions. The verse that I chose for today's discussion under the auspicious occasion on which we will be celebrating the prosperous birth of Lady of Paradise, Khairun Nisa al-Alameen, Fatimatul Zahra, Salamullahi alayha. And in reference to the birth which falls up on the 20th day of Jamadi-ul-Thani, inshallah we will have the celebration grand jashan tomorrow night as well. But I chose this ayat for various reasons, as there may be questions in reference to as to why do we celebrate, are there any different times which are superior, are there any different lands which have superiority over other lands. This ayat of Surah Taha, verses 11 and 12, briefly describes all of those things and alleviates and removes any doubts anyone may have. We see that the ayah begins by saying, فَلَمَّا أَتَاهَا مُوسَى. When Hazrat Musa ﷺ approached this valley, this land, or this tree, he saw a tree there. And then he heard from the tree, Nudiya ya Musa, it was called upon him, O Moses, Inni ana rabbuka. Indeed, I am your Rabb, the one who done your tarbiyat, the one who has raised you, the one who created you. Fakhla na'alayk. Remove your shoes. Na'al refers to the shoes, literally. Innaka bilwadil muqaddasi tuwa. You are in the sacred valley of Tuwa. We see that when Hazrat Musa came first to this land, he heard this tree. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks and he mentions in another chapter in Quran, Surah Shura, in various ways, Shura ayat number 51, different ways that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks to individuals, whether they be prophets or otherwise, because we have in Quran وَأَوْهَا إِلَىٰ أُمِّ Musa, that Allah spoke to Hazrat Musa's mother as well. So when he is spoken to غَيْرِ Masum and غَيْرِ Nabi, the ayat of Quran is there. So what are the different ways that Allah communicates? It says in Surah Shura, ayat number 51, وَمَا كَانَ لِبَشَرٍ أَن يُكَلِّمَهُ اللَّهُ. There's no way for a human being to speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except إِلَّا وَحْيًا, by him revealing something, أو من وراء hijab, or from behind some sort of veil, أو يرسل رسولا فيوحي بإذنه, or by sending an angel. So you see there are three different categories by which Allah communicates. One, by inspiration, by ilham. Sometimes you hear something, sometimes you see something, you see a dream, for example. Although our dreams do not have any hujjat upon us, but still, sometimes you say, well, I've seen this in a dream. It seems like, I should go ahead and do this. Or what is the interpretation of this dream so I can go ahead and fulfill what I'm seeing, for example, in my dream. So Hazrat Musa's mother was informed in this way as well. Second, أَوْ مِنْ وَرَاءِ hijab. Allah may speak to someone behind a curtain, behind a veil, such is the case in this ayat which I recited to Hazrat Musa alayhi salam. When he approached, فَلَمَّا أَتَاهَا نُودِيَ يَا مُوسَى. When he approached, saw this tree, and he heard from this tree that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking to him. What did he say? He says, Inni ana rabbuka. Indeed, I am your Lord. So this is the second category. And the third category is yursila rasulan, by sending an angel. How Hazrat Jibreel used to come down to the Holy Prophet by delivering this message. So there are the three different ways Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala communicates with people. So when he communicated with Hazrat Musa in this particular fashion, which is second, min wara'i hijab, first and the foremost thing that Allah is demanding from him is what? Adab-e huzuri. To be at your best behavior when you are approaching this sacred valley. Now, this resolves a lot of questions for you, because when we come to the masjid, what is the difference between this carpet in this masjid and the carpet that is in the banquet halls, for example? You can walk in here, you can walk over there with your shoes on, but you may not walk here with your shoes on. This is we try to describe to non-Muslims when they come in. And then to a certain extent, what they can come inside a masjid and they cannot come inside a masjid. That is also explained to them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He's calling upon Hazrat Musa, when He's approaching, the first and the foremost is this adab, this courtesy, this manner, this behavior, this civility, that how you should approach. You should come with this adab, this manner, which is of the utmost respect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the first thing which you understand. Now when he says fakhla alayk, it could literally mean remove your shoes. Yes, when you're coming inside this valley, remove your shoes. But it also has a deeper meaning than that. Fakhla alayk, yes, you will remove your shoes when you walk inside the masjid. You'll leave the shoes outside because there are shoe racks out there for that particular reason. Now some people may leave it out there, but there's a shoe rack, there is a purpose behind it, that you should leave your shoes over there. But maybe you were in a rush, you were in a hurry, and namaz was going on and they were in the ruku, so you left your shoes out here so you can come in, join the salat. Yes, then it's permissible. But there's a shoe rack over there, that is the reason behind it. So you remove the shoes because of the respect of this place. This is the masjid. So you cannot walk in here with your shoes. That's one thing. But is that really all that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to implement to Hazrat Musa? That when you're entering the sacred valley, come without your shoes? So no. Not only without your shoes, fakhla alayk, but also cut off all ties with the world when you are communicating with your Lord. When you're speaking with your Lord, cut off all the ties that you have with this world, whether it be with your family, whether it be with your children, whether it be with your colleagues, whether it be with your whatever. All of those ties temporarily need to be cut off, because now you are speaking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Keep that in mind. You walk into this masjid, we all do this one part by removing our shoes. But do we do the second part, which is far more important, by removing all the ties when we are standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when we are speaking to Him? So that is the adab which is being taught in this ayah when you look at it. We see that Allah refers to this wadi, this valley, bil wadil muqaddas Tuwa, that it is a sacred valley of Tuwa. Now, the entire land belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The entire universe belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He created every single land that there is. Are there different types of lands that Allah is, I'm using this word in a positive way, discriminating that one land is not worthy of anything, the other land is what? Muqaddas and sacred. So here we also understand those who question in the taqaddus and the grandeur of the places such as Karbala and such as Najaf, such as Makkah and such as Medina, do you understand that these places have this, again, this grandeur, this taqaddus, which it cannot be compared with any other place. If that was not the reason, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not single out by calling this valley to be what? Muqaddas. That you are entering into this valley. Now where Allah spoke to Hazrat Musa, that valley became Muqaddas. Therefore when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals the ayat in that valley, He says, La uqsimu bihadhal balad. That I don't need to swear by this land because of the value and the taqaddus that this land has. So therefore, we don't have different types of lands, but not all lands are equal. In the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, certain lands have this taqaddus and this honor which may be lacking in other areas. And hence the person who's entering also, when he enters into this valley, he should be completely prepared. As you walk into this masjid, you should be completely prepared by removing the shoes and by cutting off all the ties with the world and by connecting yourself with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'll give you the perfect example of that. When Imam Hussain, Sayyid al-Shuhada, he enters the valley of Karbala. When he enters the valley of Karbala, when he enters that land, and when he enters the maqtal, what does he say? He says this, he says, Taraktul khalqa, turran fi hawaka, aytamtul ayala, likay araka. Oh Allah, Taraktul khalqa, I left behind all of the creations. Al-Khalq includes everyone and everything, whether they be my family members, my colleagues, my other ties that I had, all the entire world. Taraktul khalqa turran fi hawaka, because I want your desire. I want to attain that which is your wish and that which you desire. Aytamtul ayala. I even had to go through by fact that my children will become orphans and yatim, likay araka, so that I may be able to witness your jamal and your jalal. And that's when the Holy Prophet, when he came, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he came to Janab Sayyida and he says to her that, oh Sayyida, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has sent Jibreel, and Jibreel said to Fatima that Jibreel has come. The Prophet said that he says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent him to convey his salam to you and said, ask me whatever you wish. She thought for a second and she replied, La hajata li ghayra an-nadhari ila wajhika al-kareem. I have no hajat except drawing your attention towards me. Your splendid face, that attention that you should have upon me, that's all I care for. I don't need anything aside from that. She could have asked for anything she wanted, but she chose the best thing, that as long as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has his attention towards me, not that he doesn't have the attention, but as long as Allah is caring for me and his attention is towards me and my bond is strong with him, I can care less for whatever it is that exists in this world. So from this we understand very briefly the adab that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to inculcate into Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam by reciting this. Let's just look at this concept of adab, this concept of showing respect and honor and civility, and how does that reflect into our eyes. Salawat bi Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. It says, Kullu shay'in yahtaju ilal aql. Everything is in need of intellect, aql. Without aql, you cannot do anything for that matter, which would make sense and would be rational, which would be able to explain to others. كُلُّ شَيْءٍ يَحْتَاجُ إِلَى الْعَقْلِ. But this aql is in need of something else. وَالْعَقْلُ يَحْتَاجُ إِلَى الْأَدَبِ. But this intellect is in need of adab and manners and respect. So from this understanding, we see that no one is above the Holy Prophet, who said, Addabani Rabbi al-Makarim al-Akhlaq. My Lord taught me the best of the etiquettes and morals. He said, Addabani Rabbi arba'ina sana wa ba'athni. My Lord trained me for 40 years and then he sent me towards the people. Addabani Rabbi fa ahsanu tadibi. My Lord trained me, did my best training and provided me with these adab. And how best for ahsanu tadibi. And my adab is the best of the adab that exists, best of the morals that exist. Our sixth Imam also said, Addabani abi bi-thalath. My father also taught me three things, and by these three things, I complete my life. What are these three things? He says you should have this concept of adab, which I'll explain very quickly for the children, the civility, the courteous behavior, the politeness, where adab means respect in front of someone who has superiority over you. Not in a worldly sense superiority, but that which demands superiority, like a fatherly figure, like a motherly figure, like a grandfather, someone, your older sibling. And these adab, they have to be maintained when it comes to these individuals. So, Imam said three types of adab were taught to me. First, he said, adab in tafakkur, in your vision. That your vision should also be with, civility, with best of the behaviors. Number two, adab raftar, as far as your demeanor is concerned, that also should be at the highest level. And adab guftar, as far as your speech is concerned. All three. You look at your lives, growing up, whether you're already grown up and you're already in a, you have a family of your own, you have children, you have wife, you have spouse, you have all that. All of these three adab are needed in front of them. There's a list of in front of whom you should show respect. Someone who's superior, adab in front of Allah, the Holy Prophet, the Imams, in front of Quran, as well as in front of your parents, as well as in front of your spouses, as well as in front of your children. So there are certain adab that have to be part of your daily life. So I'll go through this very quickly as I look at the clock. It's only 15 minutes have passed and we're halfway through. That what is it that we have learned as far as these three adab are concerned? Remember, Hazrat Musa walks into this valley. The first and the foremost thing that Allah demands is what? Adab huzuri. That you are coming into my bargah. You're entering into my bargah. Come with what? Come with utmost respect. Do not display slightest of disrespect. One of the stories is of Ayatollah Brojardi. He was the marja of his time. And when he visited, or there were people who would visit him, they would want to meet him. Even the dignitaries would come from different countries. They would want to go ahead and see him. So once, the head of a state or one of the kings of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia visited Ayatollah Brojardi in the 50s. And when he came, he sent all of these hadaya, these gifts. Ayatollah Brojardi took only those hadaya which were part of the cloak of the Kaaba, and he gave everything away. So I don't really need all of this other stuff that you have sent. This Kaaba, which belongs to the Kaaba, is worthy of something, so I'll keep it. And then they requested that, the king wants to meet you. So he said, well, I'm in Qom. He can come and meet me if he wants to. So sure. But then he refused. Now, today may not be, the politics may not demand that. You should go ahead and have mukalima and you should have this discussion. But the reason they gave that why he refused is because of the adab that he had for Bibi Masuma salamullah alayha. That there's a shrine of Masuma Qum salamullah alayha in Qum. The riwayat of 8 Imam says, whoever comes for my ziyarat but not visit my sister, as if he has not done my ziyarat. To that level. He said if that king comes to Qum and does not go for the ziyarat of Masuma Qum, which he will not because of their aqaid and belief is that they do not visit the shrines of Masumeen or their family members, then there is the utmost disrespect that he comes and sees me, but he does not go see her. And therefore he refused because of these reasons. And another thing which is mentioned, one of the Salatin of the Ottoman Empire, Sultan Suleiman, the magnificent Suleiman. They made movies about him, they made all of these things about him. And he says that, one day he was passing by, because when the Ottoman were expanding, they expanded their, invasions to all of these different places, even went into the Europe. But when he was, walking through this area in Najaf, where the shrine of Amirul Mu'mineen is, he said that I know that Ali ibn Abi Talib is buried over here. It is good that I go ahead and visit him. One of the Qadi of his time, who had, obviously grudge against Ahlul Bayt, he advised against it. He said, no, it's not worthy against the shan of you that you go visit someone else He said, well, that's Ali ibn Abi Talib. He was Khalifatul Muslimin. Obviously, in the Sunni world, he's Khalifatul Muslimin. He said, yeah, but you're the Khalifa of the Muslimin at the moment. It's not worthy of a Khalifa al-Muslimin who's presently the Khalifa to go visit the past Khalifa. You know, his fatwa in regards to that. So he was, disturbed. He said, let's do istikhara from Quran. And when they did istikhara from Quran, this ayat of Surah Taha 11 and 12 came up. Ya Musa, innaka bilwadil fakhla na'alayk, innaka bilwadil muqaddas tuwa. O Moses, you remove your shoes, you are in a sacred valley of Tuwa. He said, here you're telling me that I should not visit because this is against my shan. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is commanding me not only go visit, but remove your shoes as you are entering into this sacred valley. So he went ahead and he visited. This is where we understand that, and I'll give you my example and I'll bring it towards the conclusion, those three things of adab-e-fikri, the vision, adab-e-guftari, the speech, and adab-e-raftari, your behavior. Inshallah, I'll leave it for another time because I will not do justice if I went into that discussion. But I'll conclude with this, that the entire universe bows in front of the Holy Prophet. There's no one superior to the Holy Prophet. No one. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He created the best of the creation is the Holy Prophet. No one's above him or even equal to him. And therefore, with that in mind, I'll give you my example. I am a student of Hawza Ilmiya. I have this libas. When I walk into a place, people stand up out of respect. Maulana is coming, for example. But if my teacher walks in, who's superior to me, then me and people like me will stand up for our teacher. And then when our teacher's teacher, who's Marja Taqleed, Ayatullah al-Uzma, he walks in, all of our teachers will stand up for their adab, for their respect. And if Imam of the time walked in, all of the Maraj Taqaleed, they will stand up from their place because of the rutbah and the rank of Imam. And if the Holy Prophet and Prophet walked in, all of the Imams will stand up for the azamat and the rank of the Holy Prophet. In fact, forget all the Imams. If all of the Anbiya were sitting and the Holy Prophet walked in, they will all stand up out of the respect for the Holy Prophet. It is enough for the honor of Fatima Zahra that she's the only individual that when she walks in, even the person like Holy Prophet stands up from her perspective. The Prophet for whom the entire universe will stand is standing up for his daughter Fatima Zahra. And that is the reason she's called Ummu Abiha. She's the mother of her father, Sayyidatu Nisa'il Alameen. And that's why she has attained that highest of the virtues. Inshallah, we will have the Jashan explaining and understanding more about the virtue of this great lady. We conclude that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the tawfiq and ability to follow the footsteps of Fatima Zahra salamullahi alayha. In these nights, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to do tawassul to this great lady. So she serves as shafi'i and mushaffi'i and does shafa'at of ours on the day of judgment. Inna asr al-hadith wa ablagh al-mu'idha. Kitabullahi a'udhu billahi min ash-shaytan ar-rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wal asr. Inna al-insana lafi khusr. Illa alladhina amanu wa amilu as-salihat. Wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr.